Hi, everyone. My name's Jeremy, and as you know, I'm the host of Under the Radar. You're probably wondering why I haven't started the episode yet, why you hear me talking instead of hearing the normal introduction. There's a good reason for that, and it's because on Tuesday, I lost a close friend of mine in a school shooting. The STEM shooting in Highlands Ranch. His name was Kendrick Castillo, and he was a good friend. I'm dedicating this episode to him. It's the last thing that I ever thought I would do this week, but here we are. I would like for us all to share in a moment of silence for his passing before we start. Thanks. Now on with the show.
כביש מספר 6 לדרום עמוס מבאקה
המשבר בקואליציה?
חיטוב, אירובי, פילאט.
I think we're online.
Welcome to Under the Radar. One-stop shop for electronic dance music at MSU Denver. I'm your host, Jeremy. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Under the Radar. Today we have a special interview episode for you all. I got to sit down with Luke from the bass music duo KUURO. And the interview will commence right after this song. This is Swarm VIP by KUURO.
My name is Luke. I am one half of the bass music production duo KUURO. My other half, Jordan, is in Amsterdam right now. So It's just me right now for this interview.
So can you tell me a little bit how you got into producing music and how you started?
I had the idea that I wanted to figure out how music was made when I was probably like in my teens, and I heard a Junkie XL remix of Coldplay's song Talk on the radio. And it was just like super dancey and electronic and had like a great rhythm. And because it sounded more electronic and less organic, I wanted to figure out like, oh, how are they making these non-organic sounds? Fast forward a couple years, LimeWire was a thing. And I like illegally downloaded like one of the very early versions of FL Studio. 2007 happened. In 2008, like YouTube became a thing, and people started posting tutorials on like how to produce in certain digital audio workstations. So I just looked up, how to use FL Studio on there.
Late night, then going ghosts disappearing in the daylight. We've been going round in a spiral, cause I think you're too afraid of a title. Shady, 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 and it ain't right. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, we'll be alright. Baby, don't you play another song on my heartstrings. Just tell me the truth. If you want me, then show it. What you wanna do? What you wanna do? What you wanna do? Tell me how you feel, how you really feel, and why you're too afraid to get too real. I've been holding on for way too long. Anybody else would be long gone. Shady, 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 and it ain't right. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, we'll be alright. Baby, don't you play another song on my heartstrings. Just tell me the truth. If you want me, then show it. What you wanna do? What you wanna do? What you wanna do? Don't give up on the battle. Come on out of your shadow. Let it out, show me who you are, you are. Baby, don't you play another song on my heartstrings. Just tell me the truth. If you want me, then show it. What you wanna do? What you wanna do?
No, yeah, because there is a Project 46 and a Suspect 44, so name number gets confusing for sure. But yeah, that was like my first big endeavor into like music production or whatever. But we made more like fancy progressive house, and then like crossed over a little bit more into like pop stuff. I just kind of like, I guess, fell out of love with that type of production. And Jordan, my partner in KUURO, was Juventa back in the day, which was another like trance progressive house artist that he had going on. And we had been on the same labels, and we had supported each other's music and played each other's stuff out at shows when we were playing shows back then as our old aliases. And we just kind of collectively at the same time came together and started talking about how, trapped we felt in these genres and how we wanted to try something different. And so we're like, all right, let's try it together and just do something different. And it's really played out well in our favor.
Reddit AMA from 2017, you mentioned that you spent over a year crafting the sound of KUURO before you released anything. And since Jordan lives all the way in Amsterdam, what did that process look like?
So basically, when we started talking, like before KUURO was even a thing, when we were talking and complaining about too many constraints on our music production, when we were talking about how we were feeling that, we were at a dinner together. I went to one of his shows when he was in Seattle, and we were talking about that. He said, I have another show back here in like a couple months or something. And I was like, why don't you just like stay with me for a couple weeks and like let's work on some stuff. He was like, okay, cool. So he came over to my place and we just worked in my studio. We repeated that process over a couple of times whenever he would come over for a show or something. He would come over to my place for like a month or so, and we would just work. Definitely, my number one piece of advice to give to people is like spend time crafting a sound and like a brand that you want to identify your music with, and don't just like try and throw stuff at the board and see what sticks and run with it immediately.
Does that process still hold over for making your current sounds, or is it just sending files back and forth, seeing what sticks, what changes, what not?
Yeah, it's just sending files back and forth. And since we both have been using the same audio workstation for so long, and we use the same synths and have the same sound banks, sample files and everything, we keep our stuff pretty lined up.
And so in your artworks, one of the longest running speculations in the Monster Cat community and even the EDM community in general is like you're trying to tell a story in your artwork. And if that's true, do you think you could tell us a little bit about that story?
More no than yes, actually, but mainly no, because we're still working on it and figuring out where we want to take it, and not every single track that we release is like a continuation of the story per se. Like it's not like a linear timeline or anything, so I can't say too much. More than a story, what we're trying to do is world building. And and just creating this world in which our music exists and like makes sense. And when you hear it, like we want you to think of the artwork and like different sounds, different like cityscapes and like evil things or feelings or whatever the art makes you feel, whatever the sound makes you feel. We want it to be like a cohesive.
So KUURO Manga when?
Oh my God! I wish if we had the budget, we'd be making an anime. Yeah, that would be super dope. But that stuff is really expensive.
Yeah. Well, let's turn to your debut EP, which you released on Monday, Bad Habits. Can you delve a little bit into the backstory of the EP and each song?
Let's see. The first song that we had put together for that EP was actually horns. It started out as the horns instrumental. Actually started out as took a sample from a friend of our song. We just like made a whole track around resampling this one thing.
Drunk driving all above. Propaganda, fake messiah, soaking up in all the love. Bullet shells is drinking cups, maybe we won't have enough. We down to the last of, gravity is pushing up. Dark side, no Darth Vader we see. In every life taking a spiteful word that we breathe. To save your soul isn't easy, nah. So just adjust the horns on your TV. In here they don't fly. Pretending has ended an eye for an eye. So give me the slide, give me the greed. The coldest in life for the hottest degrees. You and your deal, sign it with me. The pen is not heavy, so right on the knees. The bed is burning with sheets that you make. Man is so fickle, I love your mistakes. Pay the fee. The night is free. So take no heed. I know you are me, yes. Pay the fee. The night is free. So take no heed. I know you are me, yes.
I was like, wow, this needs a rap vocal or something. So I hit up friend Tyler Maurer just across the pond in Vancouver. So we got into the studio together and we wrote it in like 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Or less. He's insane. He comes up with like amazing ideas super fast. And then he also is like the king of one takes. His nickname is One Take Ty because he'll like just come up with this dope rap. And we're like, okay, go to the booth, and he cuts it in one take. And we're like, well, it sounded perfect. I don't know what you could have done differently, which is rare for any vocalist or rapper. And we had another one, Bad Habits. It was an instrumental sitting around that I was like, man, it would also sound good if Ty was on this as well. And so we sent that to him, and on his own, he crushed and wrote that.
Yeah, not good for me, I know, but I feel like I won the lotto. Yeah, boosting my bravado. Nothing looking better than a hands around a bottle. I need to test and prove, I know. Love to stretch the truth, I know. The devil dressed like you, I know. That's a blessing too, we go down that rabbit hole where there is no giving, just taking. Yeah, you love it though, cause no good habit is for breaking. So let that liquor pour down on your chest right from those lips, and we can blindfold all our problems. We can't lie, we love it. Damn it!
Bad habits.
Yeah, you gotta have
bad habits.
right there if I want it, but I've gotten used to the change. They think that you're killing me slowly. I think you should sharpen your fangs. You don't have to ask where we're headed. You know where we're going again. Down a rabbit hole where there is no giving, just taking. Yeah, you love it though, cause no good habit is for breaking. So let that liquor pour down on your chest right from those lips, and we can blindfold all our problems. We can't lie, we love this shit. Yeah, you gotta have it. Yeah, I like to have it. You want me to grab it. Yeah, you gotta have it. I want it, I grab it.
We were like, okay, we have 2 tracks with him on it that have like a really cohesive, dark sound to it that's also a bit left field and not like super EDM-y or like a banger. I guess we just wanted to round out the EP with something that was a bit more of a banger to kind of keep the fans happy and let them know that like we're not going completely off the grid. It's just the EP is really designed to just like showcase like, look, we're more than just bangers. We can do stuff like this and this and this. And so yeah, Run Up was the third one that we added in there to just round out the package.
Full of stunner, Bill Gunner, gon' shot, get run up, shut up, your mouth, get stunner, shut up, all of my stunners, gon' run up, get, run up, 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 get, run up, run up, run up.
when you started off KUURO, nobody knew who you guys were until Possession. So what's it been like going from being two unknown producers as KUURO to being front and center of the project?
Well, the bit of the anonymity at the start was kind of to, I guess, just to promote like the mystique of like a brand new artist coming out of nowhere on Monster Cat, and also to help facilitate the transition as both Jordan and I moved from our previous projects into this one. It's oftentimes a head turner, like when you tell people like, oh yeah, I used to be Suspect 44, oh I used to be Juventa. They're like, what? Like that's completely different music. Like it's not even remotely similar.
You got scars deep enough to last. Heart full of broken glass, and I'm gonna paint it black. I got bruises I covered up. I've been used every time I loved. Nothing to lose when the devil comes. Turn out the lights, we can turn them out, 'cause turn out the lights, we can burn them out, 'cause I know what's waiting, I know what it's made of, what it's made of. Come and take me closer to the edge now. If you think you can't love me, you can show me how to have a breakdown. If you're gonna touch me, I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid of the dark. You can show me how to have a breakdown. If you're gonna touch me, you got scars deep enough to last. Heart full of broken glass, and I'm gonna paint it black. I'm not afraid to let you in. Come on and break the skin. Nothing to lose when the devil comes. Turn out the lights, we can turn them out, 'cause turn out the lights, we can burn them out, 'cause I know what's waiting, I know what it's made of, what it's made of. Come and take me closer to the edge now. If you think you can't love me, you can show me how to have a breakdown. If you're gonna touch me, I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid of the dark. You can show me how to have a breakdown. If you're gonna touch me. Come and take me closer to the edge now. If you think you can't love me, you can show me how to have a breakdown. If you're gonna touch me, I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid of the dark. You can show me how to have a breakdown. If you're gonna touch me.
Nice. Yeah, so it's been since then you've gone on tour and just you've played some big headlines. So what are some of your future plans?
Let's see. Well, at the end of this month, we start off a little mini tour. First stop is playing DreamHack in Dallas, Texas, and we have another huge festival that I've personally wanted to play for so long, Paradiso at the Gorge in Washington State, which is, in my opinion, the most beautiful venue in the entire United States. We've got some shows coming up, and then just an insane amount of music that we're sitting on right now. Not sitting on, but like we're signing and putting the finishing touches on and going through the A&R process with different labels and whatnot. but yeah, 2019 is probably going to be our most full year. I think we're trying to at least have one song per month. Yeah, we've got at least like 6 or 7 or 8 tracks just finished and ready to go, and they're in our pipeline now.
Musical influences, because we talked about that a little bit in the curated, so maybe we can delve a bit deeper in there.
I mean, for both Jordan and I could easily answer for him in terms of like who influences us for KUURO. The two people at the top of our list are unquestionably Noisia and Skrillex. They're just some of the most forward-thinking, insanely talented, just crazy. They just ooze talent. But beyond that, I mean, I would say probably our friends are some of our biggest influences as well. Like they help A&R tracks for us and give feedback. Like the let's see, Psychic Type is a good close friend of mine. He helps with A&Ring on a lot of stuff. The guys Gray, Grant, super close dude, also insanely talented. Jay Cosmic, I mean, the list goes on. I know for Jordan, Laszlo is a close friend of him. Yeah, we have tons of people who we're friends with who don't necessarily make the same music or music that's parallel to ours, but they're just super talented people, and they influence us by being super talented and pushing us forward.
And so, what do you hope to bring to people who listen to your music? You mentioned like aesthetic and like cityscapes and whatnot, but is that it?
Oh no, not really. I mean, I don't know if I have a specific goal that I want to like bring to people. It's more, you can make the music out to whatever you want to be. That's what's so great about music. It's, you take whatever you want from it.
Finish off, I have it's like a 2-3 part question, but it's a fairly big one. So what are your thoughts on modern music consumption and the treatment/payments of artists by like streaming services?
Okay. So modern music consumption, are you talking about how streaming is king now?
Yeah, just in general, how people listen to music, how people consume music, how compared to how they used to.
I think music curation and I guess just the way it's consumed now has been designed in a way that works really, really, I guess, well with the, which is how we are as humans, which is like short attention spans. And just trying to shove as much down our throat as possible because we just want to consume and consume. I don't know if I dislike it or like it. I haven't thought about it too much beyond just like, oh yeah, this is the way that the music industry has progressed in terms of, delivering content to listeners.
Got your hands on me. Every time we touch, there's a sense of urgency. Yeah, you wind me up. Oh, baby, I know I'm falling deep. I never get enough, cause we feel it so perfectly. I'm not afraid of love. Every night I need you more. Days go longer now without you than before. Just thinking about you gets me high. 'Cause you know how to leave me so electrified. When you take me down, when you take me down. You're never off my mind. I'm living in the dark till you come and give me light. You know you break the storms. Oh, I'm feeling undefined. I've never been strong, so I fall for the bad guys. I'm not going back anymore. Oh, every night I need you more. Days go longer now without you than before. Just thinking about you gets me high. 'Cause you know how to leave me so electrified. When you take me down, when you take me when you take me down, when you take me every night I need you more. Days going longer now, they're longer than before. Thinking about you gets me high. 'Cause you know how to leave me so when you take me down, when you take me
Fairness of payment with streaming services. I guess if you're Drake or Ariana Grande, you know, you're making an insane amount of money off streaming and everything, and you would be making a slightly more insane amount of money if streaming didn't exist and people were forced to buy records still. I 100% believe, though, that streaming gives a greater profit share to artists who are smaller and can't afford to like distribute CDs or, you know, or stuff like that, or get their music noticed for people to download. Because with the advent of streaming, you know, playlisting became a huge thing, and that's such a huge discovery tool for so many smaller artists, is just being on a huge playlist. And being on that huge playlist, you know, generates sometimes hundreds of thousands, millions of streams, which, you know, translates to thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in profit for the artist that otherwise wouldn't have, you know, that their single or song or whatever may have never really gone anywhere without the help of a playlist. It's definitely interesting, because I was making and producing music when streaming wasn't a super hot thing, and I saw how much money I was making, and the amount definitely increased when streaming became a very popular thing. So from my personal experience, I could say that it's definitely helped. necessarily know how fair it is. Stream equates to like 0.004 cents, and then that's split between you and if the song is itself released, it's split between you and a label in whatever percentage you've contractually negotiated. Yeah, so I don't really know if that's fair. I don't know how they come up with that number. I guess those are my very non-educated thoughts on that. I guess something to add on that is making money in music is make sure that you know what you're signing before you sign it, and that you have proper representation, whether it be a manager or a music lawyer looking over contracts or something. It's expensive, but it can save or make you tons of money down the road, depending on what exactly you're negotiating.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
Is there any last thing that you want to say to the audience out there?
Just thanks so much for all the love and support on our recent Bad Habits EP. We definitely felt it was a little bit of a risk, going a bit more experimental on it, but people really seem to resonate with it and understand what we're trying to do, which is always a great feeling whenever you try something new. And hopefully we get to see y'all at the next tour stop, and definitely